What was the craziest reason a teacher at your school got fired? In high school, FL, for our teacher took us canoeing. Instead of checking the weather, he brought 15 freshmen into the channel our school was on. A severe thunderstorm hit, and our teacher paddled safely back to school and left us teens in the water. We tied our canoes together and rowed back to school, but we were drenched and super late. Our teacher was just standing on the dock, not a care in the world. He got fired like 2 days later. Our high school art teacher got fired after someone found an old YouTube video of him painting with his ass cheeks. We held a protest to try to keep him around, but they fired him anyway. Pablo Picasso? She posted nudes on her public Facebook profile. Power move. Sent a porn link instead of Google form by email. Many students then commented on the video with a lot of great jokes. Funny times. Took one for the team. Sounds like you saw the same video. I went to HS in the early 80s in a tiny rural Appalachian town 35 miles from the closest traffic light. We had classes that taught auto mechanics, one that taught carpentry, had a motorcycle riding class and a rifle shooting class and classes for welding, and machine shop with lathes and milling machines etc. The teacher of the machine shop got arrested for making silencers for the Mayfair, and half the stuff he had us making as class projects on the lathes and milling machines was items he used in making them. I'm from a town like that, only we had one stoplight in the county. It was on wheels, so you could move it to different places that needed at different times of the year. I was at a Catholic school and one teacher got fired because he remarried after a divorce. Bruh. Fun fact. In the eyes of the Catholic Church, once married, always married. Even if you legally get divorced. My aunt and uncle had to petition the Pope. I'm sure not actually the Pope, but yeah, church bigwigs, and prove that her previous marriage ended due to abuse in order for it to be annulled by the church. They had divorced legally years prior. Also that my aunt and uncle could get married in the Catholic Church. If the divorce isn't annulled by the church, any new marriage is considered polygamy. This was probably in the early 80s. A history teacher I had in high school gave us a lot of random documentary/movie days, during which she would just sit in the back at her desk drinking tea. The year after I graduated, she had a movie day, and when the film ended she didn't get up or do anything but sit there, eyes closed, fearing the worst. Some students went to the office and brought an administrator down who found she was passed out drunk. They found bottles in her desk. Why is it always the history or math teachers that are bad teachers? Math are always pedophiles and history are either drunks or pedophiles. It makes me feel really weird since those are my two favorite topics. Anyway, I have to get off Reddit and get back to sharing a cocktail with my grandson. Wait, are you seriously asking why someone who loves history so much they decided to teach it and then they had to deal with high schoolers' drinks? Cussing out a student. It was a librarian at an elementary school. Bet that student got an expanded vocabulary after that. Take this up vote good sir. Wish I had an award. Shop teacher got a sophomore pregnant. Same thing happened when I was in middle school, except the girl was 13. Gross. Other than the sex scandal with underage students that happened, my best friend got a teacher fired on accident because she was buying and selling UGR cards with students. He just so happened to say how cool it was to another teacher, which led to well the not so happy ending. That's lame. Sorry for the teacher trying to connect with students. Our app calculus teacher in high school had a mental break. Ranted for an entire class period about some nonsense. Then drank an entire bottle of salsa. Stormed out and never came back. They had a substitute for the rest of the semester, which was unfortunate since the sub wasn't a calculus teacher, so they were at a disadvantage for the app test. An entire bottle of salsa? Question mark? Like a party bottle of El Paso medium salsa. My band teacher resigned and fled back to his home state, but ended up getting arrested on federal charges. He was having sex with band students on trips, and some of them were across state borders. His house was searched, and he had videos. He got 45 days in jail. His parents are affluent, and was able to push the trial out several years before eventually pleading guilty. This was after a band assistant was fired for dating a 16-year-old trumpet player while 33. The principal resigned amongst all this. The principal, item head out. She was hired on because of her experience with band programs and prioritized the marching band. Collaborated over the sports teams. So controversy in the band program was seen as her direct responsibility. So yeah, she headed out lol. A student teacher who was coaching cheer gave a girl pain meds, narcotic, without a prescription or permission from parents. She got fired. Never heard if she managed to get a teaching license after that. I remember a day where I got my braces tightened and asking a friend for a Tylenol. I guess my science teacher overheard because he gave me one. But he made me promise not to tell anybody. Don't know what would have happened if I told someone my science teacher gave me a pill. Long story short, my French teacher was ducking the lunch lady in school property. Maybe he was just thanking her for her delicious mashed potatoes? Well, he sure smashed hers. Not my school, but one in my general area, had an entire lunch period's worth of students watch a male teacher scream at his wife, female teacher in the same school, after catching her with the janitor in school. A teacher called one of his students and drunk confessed his obsessive love to her on voicemail. Close bracket. Promising to leave his new wife and baby for her. Our teacher was a chronic liar and lied about having a master's and a degree. Funny thing is she actually did have a relevant degree that would have got her the job. Other lies include dating Brad Pitt, being an ex-gang member, and even being a multi-millionaire, but just enjoying teaching. He threw pencils at students. One day he threw a chair at a girl who annoyed him. Serious anger management issues. And then they found the child porn on his computer at school. Rumor was that he had also been grooming one of the student aides. I haven't heard a thing about him since the year he disappeared. It was in a Catholic monastery school not even 10 years ago. My homeroom teacher prevented the suicide of a nun and got fired for it. That's literally all the info we pupils got at the time. Apparently you can't do anything right in this world. My kindergarten teacher picked me up by the neck and tossed me across the room. She wasn't actually fired, just not allowed to teach kindergarten again. Instead, she taught 2nd grade. She was my teacher that year, too. In her defense, odds are pretty good that I had it coming. My language arts teacher got caught taking the bus up to the mountain to smoke weed with the ski club. This was back before the sticky Ike was legal here. 25 years ago at my old boys Catholic high school, a priest was accused/caught molesting a student. Of course this wasn't a firing offense for a priest back then, it was just hushed up. The guy was creepy as hell. Earlier this year I read about him in the paper, a fresh round of allegations. He was allowed to keep on going for another 25 freaking years. Had a history teacher show a bunch of 7th graders drunk history. The goody two-shoes of the class nassed and told her mom, who complained to the school. He was fired by the end of the week. A teacher apparently got fired for doing drugs before class a couple years after I had her. I thought it was just rumors before the principal just avoided the question after being asked about it. A really cool teacher of mine put on the 2016 Deadpool movie in class after some convincing from the class. Anyways, some kid snitched, no idea who, and because the movie was rated R she was fired. She was really cool too, and I felt pretty bad. I talked about this a few days ago, but she told me she didn't want me doing any practical work because she knew I was retarded, and it's not fair that I take all her attention away from the normal children. I was 14, autistic, and it broke my ducking heart. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.